Yo, why he eat like that? The joke came from 2 tables over. The new inmate didn't look up. He sat alone, hunched slightly over his tray, eating slow. No tattoos, no chains, nothing loud about him except how quiet he was. In a prison full of noise, that kind of silence made people itchy. Oh, he deaf or something? Someone else called. Hey, you hear me, my boy? Laughter rippled through the cafeteria. He kept chewing. At the center table, Darnell watched. Big, muscular, gold tooth flashing every time he smiled. B-Block ran through him, and he loved reminding everyone. That him? Darnell asked his crew. The new dude ain't said a word since intake. Yeah, said Skinny J. Been here 3 days. Didn't ask for nothing. Didn't talk to nobody. Think he above us or he's slow. Darnell smirked. Go test him. Jay grinned and swaggered across the room, bumping a couple chairs on purpose. He stopped at the lone table. Hey, mute! The new guy kept his head down. Jay slapped the table hard. The man's hand twitched just slightly. I'm talking to you. Jay said louder. You got a name or we just call you Silence? The man's jaw moved like he might speak. Instead, he just took another bite. Calm, almost mechanical. The laughs nearby got sharper. Oh, he's scared. Look at him. He ain't built for this. Darnell leaned back, enjoying the show. Jay snatched the tray and dragged it toward himself. Ite Silence, he said. You don't talk, you don't eat. Still nothing. No grab for the tray. No anger. That bothered Jay more than any threat would have. You in my block now. Jay said, you pay tax. I ask your name, you answer, or you're gonna find out how we treat disrespect. The man stood up. No chair slam, no dramatic push. Just stood. Smooth. Controlled. Up close, you could see the way his shoulders settled. Balance. Relax. Not like a man bracing for a beating. Like a man who knew exactly what his body could do. Jay swallowed, but didn't back up. Oh, you alive now, he mocked. You want us back? The new guy lifted his eyes. They weren't wild. Not scared. Just tired. Dark eyes that looked through Jay instead of at him. Jay snapped his fingers in front of his face. You deaf? Dumb. The man finally spoke. One word. No. His voice was low. Calm. Too calm. That it? Jay scoffed. Whole lungs, and that's all you got. Behind them, Officer Mills, one of the older COs, half turned to watch. There was something naggingly familiar about the new guy's face. Darnell called out, Yo, Jay. He answered you. Barely, Jay said. He said he don't fight. The man's gaze flicked to the wall-mounted TV in the corner. Some old sports replay was running. Boxing. 2 fighters trading shots in slow motion. His mouth tightened. I didn't say that, he murmured. Jay frowned. What you do, then? The man looked back at him. I hurt people, he said softly. The room dipped a degree colder. Jay laughed, too loud. Yeah, us too, hero. But Officer Mills' eyes narrowed. Those hands. Those knuckles. That way of standing. Feet set without thinking, one slightly back, weight centered. He'd seen a man stand like that before. On TV. In highlight reels. Behind flashing cameras. Darnell pushed his chair back and stood. This boring now, he said. Mute boy don't want to play. He stepped closer, voice raised. Yo, Silence. You in my block, you either back down or show teeth. Which is it? The new man held his gaze. I just want to be left alone, he said. Darnell's grin widened. That ain't how this building works. He tapped the man's chest with 2 fingers. Light touch. Barely anything. But the new guy's body reacted like a coiled wire touch current. Shoulders dipped. Chin tucked. Hips angled. Hands still low but positioned. A stance. Not a street stance. A boxing stance. Mills' stomach dropped. No. Couldn't be. Yo, why you standing like that? Someone muttered. Bro, I seen that before. On TV or something. The man seemed to catch himself. He straightened, forcing his body out of position. I don't fight anymore, he said quietly. Darnell laughed. What, you're retired? The man looked at the TV again. A fighter on screen dropped another man with a brutal right hand. His voice dropped. I killed someone. The words landed like a punch. And suddenly Mills knew. Malik Carter. Silent Storm. A pro boxer whose opponent died in the ring. Headlines. Noise. Then nothing. Mills stared, heart thudding. The new inmate in B Block was Malik Silent Storm Carter, and the way he was breathing now told Mills something else. He hadn't come here by mistake. They sat him in a beige counseling room like it mattered. One desk, 2 chairs, motivational posters peeling at the corners. Sit, Officer Mills said. Malik sat, hands on his knees, eyes on the floor. The cafeteria scene replayed in his head, that old stance slipping out. The Wade Arnell looked at him now. You remember me? Mills asked. Malik didn't respond. Mills sighed. Right. Silent Storm. The name punched the air out of the room. Malik's jaw flexed. Malik Silent Storm Carter, Mills said. 22 wins. 19 knockouts. One man didn't get back up. He watched for a reaction. Barely got one, a flicker in the eyes, a tight swallow. You know they bet on you in here? Mills said, back when you were on TV. Some guards lost money the night he died. Malik's fingers curled slightly. He didn't just die, Malik muttered. I killed him. Before Mills could answer, the door opened. Counselor Porter stepped in, mid-40s, tired but sharp. Officer Mills, she said. I'll take it from here. Mills lingered. You sure you're good alone with him? Porter gave him a look. He's not a monster, he's an inmate. Mills bit back what he wanted to say. If only she'd seen that fight. He left, closing the door. Porter sat, flipping through Malik's thin file. Malik Carter, she read. Manslaughter conviction. High profile. Turned down protective custody. Requested general population. That's unusual. He stared past her. You requested this? She pressed. Yes. Why? Didn't want to be separated, Malik said, from people like me. Guilty people? She asked. He shrugged. Alive ones. She studied him. What happened in that ring, Malik? He closed his eyes. It came back fast. The smell of sweat and cheap beer. Bright lights. Coach's hand on his neck. Last round, Malik. Don't play with your food. He'd gone out sharp. Focused. Rivas had been tough, durable. The kind of man you respected, but still hit hard. He remembered the combo. Left jab. Right cross. Left hook. Rivas' head snapped. Feet tangled. The sound of his body hitting the canvas. Then something went wrong. No movement. No groan. No ref yelling, get up. Just silence. EMTs rushed in. He'd tried to go to Rivas' corner. They held him back. The commentators' faces had turned from excitement to panic. The crowd noise changed. Less roar, more panic, more confusion. Later, the meetings. His lawyer's tired voice. They're charging you, Malik, not for wanting to hurt him, but for not stopping when he was clearly out. I did my job, Malik had said, and they're doing theirs, she replied. They need someone to blame. Promoters won't fall. This makes headlines. She'd slid the plea deal across the table. Take it, or risk more time. He'd signed, because at the end, one truth drowned out everything. He died. I didn't. Back in the counseling room, Porter watched his face. You're sure he died? She asked quietly. That's what they said. You didn't see the body? He hesitated. No. Porter's eyes softened. His family never spoke in court, she said. No statement. No appearance. No financial claim. That's strange in a case like yours. He frowned. My lawyer told me they didn't want anything from me. Maybe they weren't allowed to ask, Porter said. Before he could respond, a sharp knock hit the door. Mills stepped back in, face tense. Sorry, he said. I need him back in block. Early lockdown. B block's heating up. Porter sighed. 5 more minutes. Officer. No. Mills said, more serious. Now. She looked between them. Fine. Malik, we'll continue this later. She left. Door closed. Mills stared at Malik. We gotta talk about something else, he said. I'm done talking. Mills stepped closer, dropping his voice. You ever see a dead body in person, Carter? Yeah. His. Malik's silence was the answer. Mills nodded slowly. There's a rumor, he said. Old one. Ugly one. Most rumors die fast in here. This one didn't. Malik's heartbeat picked up. What rumor? That the man you killed, Mills said quietly, didn't stay dead. Malik's eyes went flat. That's not funny. Not joking, Mills said. Rumor says it was a medical transfer. No funeral. No body. Just complications and paperwork. Malik's voice scraped out. To where? Mills' jaw clenched. Didn't believe it when I first heard it, he said. Thought it was just prison talk. He opened the door. But after last month, I started to think maybe it's true. Malik stood slowly. True how? Mills looked him in the eye. Rumor says they move him here, he said. He stepped aside. Welcome home, Carter. The door slammed behind Malik, leaving him alone with a question that made his guilt crack down the middle. What if the man he thought he killed was alive, and somewhere inside this prison? The rumor didn't hit his brain. It hit his body. Palms warm, mouth dry, chest tight like he'd just heard a ring announcer call his name again. If Rivas was alive, if they'd lied about the death, why send Malik here? Punishment? Cover up? Leverage? He didn't sleep that night. Just lay on his bunk, listening to the building breathe and trying to shove the idea away. It didn't go. By morning, the rumor had spread without him saying a word. Eyes lingered longer. Whispers followed him. Yo, that's the boxer, right? The one who killed somebody. Nah, I heard the dude lived. For real? They say he's in here too. He moved through it like fog. Until wreck. Yard, Darnell pushes. The yard was a rectangle of cracked concrete. A few weights, and too many men pretending they weren't watching each other. Malik stayed near the fence alone. Did some light stretches. Nothing big. Just enough to keep the blood moving. Darnell noticed. He always noticed. He walked over slowly, a couple of his boys trailing behind. You made quite an entrance yesterday, Silence, Darnell said. Got people talking. Malik didn't look at him. I'm not here for them. Who you here for? Darnell asked. No answer. Darnell laughed. You really committed to this quiet corpse role, huh? He stepped closer. You a boxer, right? Malik's eyes flicked to him now. That alone made Darnell grin. See, he said. I say the magic word, and you look up. I used to fight, Malik said. Not anymore. Used to fight, Darnell repeated. Whole prison talking like you some legend. I don't believe in legends. I believe in what I see. He jabbed a finger at Malik's chest. Right now, I see a dude who doesn't want to swing. Malik's jaw moved. I'm trying not to hurt anyone. That's cute, Darnell said. This place was built to hurt people. He leaned in, voice lower. Rumor says the man you killed ain't dead, Darnell said. That true? Malik's heart skipped. Where'd you hear that? Darnell's grin widened. I hear everything, he said. In here, information is currency. And you? You just raise a market price. Malik turned away. I don't want trouble, he said. Too late, Darnell replied. He didn't press harder, though. Not yet. He walked off, but Malik felt something. Darnell wasn't done. He was circling, waiting to see what shook loose. Back in the cell, radio talks. When Malik returned to his cell, there was a shape leaning on the shared bar divider. His neighbor. Everyone called him Radio. Thin, gray at the temples. The kind of man who looked like he'd been here longer than the paint. You walk like it's always the fourth round, Radio said. Malik stared at him. What? Not first, not last. Radio shrugged. Fourth, tired but dangerous. You conserve energy. You don't waste steps. Malik lay back on the bunk, not in the mood for poetry. Radio smirked. Not poetry, he said. Observation. People say your ghost came with you. Malik's fingers tightened. People say a lot. Yeah, radio said. Most of it's trash. But there's one rumor that keeps sticking. He lowered his voice. About a man who was supposed to be dead, showing up in intake under a new name. Scarred up, face not quite right. Malik's breath got shallow. You believe that? He asked. Belief don't matter, radio said. What matters is this. He pointed at Malik's chest. You walked in here like you already knew who you were looking for. Malik stared at the ceiling. I didn't, he said. Maybe not consciously. Radio smiled faintly. But your guilt did. He stepped back into the shadows. You'll see him soon, radio said softly. 'Cause men like that, they don't hide forever. Morning note. Next morning, lights popped on early. Malik sat up, saw something. A folded scrap of paper tucked between his bars. He got up, took it, unfolded. Just a few words. Stop digging. This place kills curiosity. No signature. No name. He checked the tier. Nobody watching directly. But someone had been close enough to his cell door while he slept. Nice fan mail, radio murmured. Malik crumpled the note, then tucked it into his pocket instead of tossing it. If they wanted him to stop looking, they were scared of what he might find. The note sat in Malik's pocket, like extra weight. Stop digging. He'd barely started. At breakfast, eyes followed him sharper than before. The guards pretended not to notice. Pretending was part of the job. He took his tray. Same empty table. Halfway through his food, a shadow slid across the surface. Darnell. Again. He sat down uninvited, turning the tray slightly like it was his. You got people nervous, Darnell said. Malik sighed silently. I didn't do anything. That's the problem, Darnell said. You walk quiet. You eat quiet. You stare quiet. Makes people start writing their own stories about you. He leaned forward. You know what they're saying now? Malik didn't answer. Darnell did anyway. They say the man you killed is in here, he said. They say he got a new name, some scar work, damaged lungs. They say he'd been a skin about you too. Malik's hand tightened around his fork. Why do you care? He asked. Darnell grinned. 'Cause I like knowing who the main characters are in my building. He tapped the table. You want people to leave you alone, he said. You step into the right rooms when you're called. Otherwise they come to you the wrong way. Translation? Malik said. Darnell jerked his chin toward the far end of the cafeteria. These walls talk, he said. They say you're invited to a meeting. Where? Old gym by C Block, Darnell said. Afternoon rec. Come alone. Or don't come at all and let them hunt you. Malik looked at him. Who's them? He asked. Darnell smiled. You'll see. The old gym. The old gym smelled like dust, old sweat, and something else history. Concrete walls. High windows. An old, half-dismantled boxing ring shoved into the back. Rope sagging. Malik stepped in. A small circle of inmates already waited. Darnell leaned against the wall. Welcome to Throwback Hour, he said. On the floor in front of Malik lay a pair of worn gloves. He stared at them. I told you, Malik said. I don't fight. Darnell shrugged. Then don't, he said. Nobody forcing you. He nodded toward the corner. Because he wants to. A figure stepped out from the shadows. Shorter than Malik, but solid. Shoulders thick. Head scarred at the hairline. One eyelid drooped slightly. Nose broken more than once. He walked with subtle stiffness, like something deep inside had healed wrong. Malik's chest tightened. The man stopped under the dim light. His breathing was off. One side of his chest rose a little slower. He looked up, eyes locked with Malik's. Recognition slammed into the space between them. Not quite, I know you, but close. You're him, the man said. His voice was rough, like it had been dragged across gravel. Darnell smirked. Malik Carter, he announced. Meet Torres. The name hit wrong. Didn't match the face. But the eyes. Malik swallowed. You box? Malik asked. Torres smiled without humor. I survived, he said. That more than some can say. He took a step forward, studying Malik like a puzzle he'd already solved. Used to watch you fight, Torres said. All that quiet, all that power. Then one bad night, and you disappeared. Malik's jaw ticked. You a fan? He asked. Torres' gaze hardened. Nah, he said, but I know what it's like to wake up and wonder why you're still alive. That line burned. Darnell clapped once. Look, he said, this ain't a death match. It's just a little spar. Couple rounds. Shows for us. That's it. He nodded toward Malik. You glove up, silence, he said. You get in there, move around, maybe people stop poking at you. You refuse. He let that hang. People in the circle shifted. Malik stared at the gloves. Last time he'd worn any, a man didn't move again. I don't want to hurt anybody, he said. Torres tilted his head. You think you're the only one here who knows what bones sound like? He asked. Relax. I'm not made of glass. Malik met his eyes again. Something in them bothered him, like the man wasn't just looking at him. He was looking through him, at a night Malik couldn't stop replaying. You ever fight on TV? Malik asked quietly. Torres' lips twitched. I fought where it counted, he said. Rest is noise. Darnell grew impatient. Clock's ticking, Carter. Malik's heart hammered. He could walk away. He could refuse. But if Rivas really was here, if this Torres knew anything, standing outside the ring wasn't going to get him answers. He bent down, slid his hands into gloves. Leather closed over scarred knuckles. The old weight settled in. Torres' eyes lit up. There he is, Torres murmured. The man who breaks people. Malik stepped onto the worn mat. Last time I did this, he said quietly, someone didn't get up. Torres smiled, slow and unsettling. Yeah, he said. I heard. They moved toward the center. Darnell raised his hand. Touch gloves, he said. Then we see what legends look like without the cameras. Malik lifted his hands. Torres tapped them lightly. His gaze never left Malik's face. Under his breath, too low for the others to fully catch, he said, Tell me, Carter, you ever think about what really happened after that last bell? A chill slid down Malik's spine, because the way Torres said it sounded less like curiosity and more like memory. The old gym got quiet the moment Malik stepped onto the faded mat. No guard shouting. No metal doors clanking. Just a buzz of flickering lights and a ring of inmates waiting for blood. Torres stood across from him, gloves already on, shoulders loose, chin tucked just wrong enough to show he wasn't a trained pro, but he was no rookie either. Darnell clapped once. Aight, boys. Keep it clean or don't. Management tired of paperwork anyway. A few dudes laughed. Malik didn't. He hadn't stood in a ring, real or fake, in 3 years. But his body slipped into stance on its own. Left foot forward. Right heel light. Shoulders relaxed. Chin dipped. Torres noticed. Yeah, Torres said. I knew you were him. Malik ignored that and raised his guard. You start, he said quietly. Torres smirked and flicked a jab. Malik slipped it without effort. Small head turn, shoulder roll, nothing flashy. A murmur rippled through the room. Another jab. Malik parried it. Torres added a hook. Malik slid under it easily. Yo, he's smooth, someone whispered. Torres tested again. Jab, jab, cross. Nothing clean landed. Malik didn't throw a single punch back. He just moved. Darnell frowned. Hey, he barked. This ain't yoga. Somebody swing. Torres chuckled breathlessly. You don't punch no more, he taunted. Thought you used to put people to sleep. Malik's voice was flat. I'm trying not to hurt you. Torres stopped smiling. Oh, that's adorable. He stepped in harder, no testing now. A heavier right hand. A digging body shot. Sloppy but dangerous. Malik caught the body shot on his elbow. Felt the vibration run up his arm. His own body twitched with old instinct. Not yet. Not again. But Torres kept pressing. You slow, Torres said. Ring rust hitting you. Malik's jaw tightened. You talk like you know me. Torres' eyes flickered. Everybody in here know what you did, but not everybody know what really happened. Then Torres threw a punch Malik recognized instantly, not because of the speed, but because of the technique. The subtle wrist turn at the end of the punch, a signature correction, something drilled into fighters from a specific old-school coach, something Malik had seen only one man use perfectly, Rivas, the man he killed. Malik froze for half a second. That's all Torres needed. His glove grazed Malik's cheek. Just a touch. Barely anything, but enough to light Malik's chest on fire. He stepped back, staring. "Where'd you learn that?" he demanded. Torres shrugged with a crooked smile. "You ain't the only one who trained under real people." He threw another punch. Malik blocked, and his body snapped. Left hook, clean, sharp, not full power, but enough to pop Torres' head back. The room exploded. "Oh!" He tagged him. That's the silent storm. Torres wiped a bead of blood from his lip, eyes shining. "There he is," Torres whispered. "The man who breaks things." Malik shook his head fast, trying to calm his breathing. "No more," he warned. "I'm done." Torres stepped closer. "You think you get to be done in here?" he said. "This place eats men like you." He jabbed lightly, forcing Malik to stay engaged. "And you want to know something?" Torres added. "About that night?" Malik's eyes snapped up. "What do you know about that night?" Torres leaned in, voice low enough only Malik could hear. "You didn't kill him." Malik's heart missed a beat. "What?" Torres threw another lazy 1-2. Malik blocked on instinct. "I said," Torres repeated softly, "you didn't kill him." Malik grabbed Torres' gloves, stopping him cold. "Say it again." Torres didn't flinch. "You heard me. Somebody else damn near died that night, but it wasn't the man on the canvas." The world tilted around Malik. He forgot the crowd, forgot Darnell, forgot the prison. All he heard was breathing, his and Torres. And Torres wasn't done. "You ever wonder why they hid everything?" Torres murmured. "Why no funeral? Why no family statements? Why they rushed you through sentencing?" Malik's grip tightened. "Tell me?" Torres smirked. "Keep showing up," he said. "Keep your hands working. Keep breathing." He leaned closer. "And maybe I'll tell you who they really wanted gone that night." Darnell stepped between them before Malik could react. "Break it up," he said. "We done for today." Torres backed up, gloves still raised, eyes locked on Malik. As he turned to leave, he muttered just loud enough for Malik to hear. "Last thing, Carter. You weren't the only one on somebody's hit list." Malik stood there shaking, not from fear, but from the first spark of truth. Malik didn't remember walking out of the gym. One moment he was staring at Torres' back as the man disappeared into the shadows. The next he was in the corridor, gloves off, hands shaking, blood roaring in his ears. "You didn't kill him." The sentence repeated like a heartbeat. He'd carried guilt for 3 years. Woke up sweating. Saw Rivas' body every time he closed his eyes. But Torres said it like a fact. Like something he wasn't supposed to know, but somehow did. Malik reached his cell, still trembling. He sat on the bunk, elbows on knees, breathing slow to steady himself. Radio's voice drifted from the next cell. "You got hit." Malik shook his head. "No." "Then why are you breathing like that?" Malik didn't answer. Radio chuckled softly. "When truth hits harder than fists," he said, "that's when you really feel pain." Malik swallowed hard. Torres said something. He muttered, hum. He said, "I didn't kill him." Radio fell silent. Then, "You believe him?" Malik's throat tightened. "I don't know." But he wanted to. He needed to. Radio leaned closer to the bars. "Let me tell you something about this place," he said. "Every lie in here got a reason. Every truth got a cost. If Torres talking, he wants something from you." "What?" Malik asked. Radio shrugged. "Could be trust. Could be protection. Could be revenge. Could be just like playing with broken minds." Malik stared at the floor. "I need to see him again." Radio tapped the bars lightly. "You will," he said, "but not in that gym. They don't let men with that kind of history cross too often." "History?" Malik asked. Radio smirked. Oh, silence. Torres ain't just some inmate. He been in 3 different blocks this year. Always medical transfers. Always after a scuffle. And you ever notice his breathing? Malik nodded slowly. One lung working harder. Exactly, Radio said. That ain't normal. That's survival surgery. Malik's blood chilled. So he was hurt bad. Near death bad, Radio said. Malik's mind flashed back. Rivas on the canvas. EMTs yelling. Blood near the mouth. Chest barely rising. What if it wasn't Rivas? What if someone else collapsed that night? What if, Malik started. A voice boomed through the block. Line up for count. Door slid open. Time to move. The infirmary hallway. That afternoon, Malik was assigned to laundry duty. Boring but quiet. He took the cart down towards the old infirmary wing, a place most inmates avoided. Too many stories. Too many screams. Too many men rolled out and never returned. As Malik pushed the cart, he passed a small square window in the infirmary door. He didn't mean to look inside. He didn't want to, but something pulled his eyes. There was a man sitting on a metal bed, back turned, shirt off. Scars ran across his ribs, thick, jagged, surgical. The kind you got when doctors had to open your chest fast. His breathing was shallow on one side, exactly like Torres. Malik's chest tightened. Before he could look away, the man turned his head slightly, just enough for Malik to see the corner of his face. Familiar, too familiar. Malik stepped back instinctively, heart hammering. No way. The man in the bed looked older, more broken. But there was something in the jawline, the cheekbones, the way the shoulder moved. It looked like Rivas, his opponent, the man he thought he killed. Malik pressed closer to the glass. But the man stood up suddenly, as if sensing a stare. Malik froze. The man turned fully now. It wasn't Rivas, but the resemblance stabbed Malik's chest. Same nose shape, same brow ridge, same scar where Rivas had gotten cut 2 fights before theirs. But the eyes were wrong. Colder, harder, like he'd lived through something Rivas hadn't. Malik stepped back, heart pounding so loud, he barely heard Radio's voice echo behind him. Hey, champ, you wandering off the map? Radio turned the corner, waving him over. Malik forced himself away from the infirmary door. What were you looking at? Radio asked. Malik swallowed. Nothing. Radio studied his face. You saw something. Malik didn't answer. Couldn't. The image of that scarred, Rivas look-alike face wouldn't leave his head. Torres. Now this other man. Both carrying pieces of someone who wasn't supposed to exist anymore. Champ! Radio whispered, lowering his voice. You digging again. Malik looked around, made sure no one was close. Radio, he said, voice strained. If the man I fought didn't die, then who did? Radio didn't blink. He stepped close, face half in shadow. That's the question that gets men buried in here. And you know something? Malik pushed. Radio sighed. You ever wonder why Torres walked like pain lives in him? Why that dude in the infirmary got scars no inmate should survive? Why every file on Rivas got sealed by court stamped on it? Malik's pulse sped. Why? Radio leaned in. Because somebody went down that night, he whispered. Someone almost died, but not the one the world thinks. Malik stared at him. Who? Radio stepped back. You're not ready for that answer. Malik grabbed his arm. I am. No, Radio said firmly. You're not. Not until you figure out who wanted you silenced. The hallway felt colder. Silenced. Malik repeated. Radio pointed at him. You think this prison was luck? That your sentence was coincidence? Nah, champ. You got placed. He tapped Malik's chest as he walked past. And someone here want to finish the job they started in that ring. Malik didn't sleep the next night either. Torres' words. The man in the infirmary. Radio's warning. Everything kept looping in his head like a punch combination he couldn't unlearn. You didn't kill him. You got placed. Someone wants to finish the job. By morning, Malik felt like his bones were vibrating. But Prison didn't slow down because your world was cracking. He got assigned laundry duty again. Good. Laundry meant the quiet vents, the back rooms, the places where inmates talked less and secrets talked more. The laundry room. The room was a hot metal box. Machines thudding. Steam rising. Nobody supervising too close. Radio was folding sheets nearby, humming to himself like always. Malik kept glancing at the vents along the far wall. They rattled with each machine cycle, large enough for a skinny man to crawl through, or for someone to hide something. Radio noticed. "You looking for ghosts or escape routes?" he asked casually. Malik didn't bother lying. "You said every lie in here has a reason," Malik said. "Every truth has a cost. I need truth." Radio sighed dramatically, tossed a towel onto the table. "You want to find truth in a prison?" he said. "Start in the places guards don't clean." He pointed with his chin. "Vent 3. Malik blinked. "You want me to check inside?" Radio shrugged. "Ain't my curiosity. But whatever you're looking for, it ain't out in the open." Malik stared at the vent. He knew he shouldn't. He knew this was how men got caught, written up, stabbed, or disappeared. But he couldn't ignore it. Not now. Not after Torres said Malik didn't kill Rivas. Not after seeing that man in the infirmary. Not after Radio said someone wanted Malik silenced. He moved toward the vent. Radio pretended not to watch him, but he was watching every move. Malik unscrewed the panel with a butter knife he'd accidentally kept from breakfast. The grate came off easily. Too easily. Inside, something was wedged about a foot deep. A small, folded stack of papers wrapped in plastic. Malik's breath caught. He reached in and pulled it out, newer than the vent dust around it. Someone put this here recently. He opened it. His heart stopped. Rivas medical report. Date sealed. 3 years ago. Access restricted. The first page wasn't a full document, just a torn fragment. A single paragraph. But it was enough to punch the air out of Malik's lungs. Subject sustained critical trauma inconsistent with known blows recorded during the match. Collapse due to internal injury prior to knockout impact. Malik froze. Prior. Before the knockout. Before Malik's punch. His head spun. He read further. Cause of injury under investigation. External object suspected. External object? Something outside the ring? Someone hitting him? Something planted? His pulse thundered. They blamed Malik. But someone else had already hurt Rivas before Malik touched him. Malik felt the world tilt. He wasn't the killer. He was a cover story. Find something? Radio asked quietly behind him. Malik didn't turn. He held the torn report in trembling fingers. "What is this?" Malik whispered. Radio stepped closer, eyes careful. "That ain't the whole truth," Radio said. "Just a piece." "Who put it here?" Radio shrugged. "Could be the same man who ain't supposed to be alive. Could be the man who want you gone." Malik's grip tightened. "That man in the infirmary." "Not Rivas," Radio said, "but close enough to spook you." Malik exhaled sharply. "What happened that night, Radio? Who hit him? Why frame me?" Radio didn't answer. Instead, his eyes flicked past Malik's shoulder. Malik turned and froze. Torres was standing in the doorway, chest rising slow, hands at his sides, eyes locked on the torn file in Malik's hand. "If you had half a brain," Torres said, stepping into the room, "you'd throw that in the machine and pretend you never saw it." Malik's heart thudded. "You knew," Malik said. "You knew he was hurt before I hit him." Torres didn't blink. "You think you're the first man they used? The first fighter thrown to the wolves?" Malik stepped toward him. "What happened that night, Torres?" Torres smirked, but it didn't reach his eyes. "You want the truth?" Torres asked quietly. "The real truth?" "Yes." Torres glanced at Radio, then closed the distance until he was inches from Malik. "The truth," Torres whispered, "would get you killed before dinner." Malik didn't step back. "Tell me." Torres exhaled sharply through his nose. "I'd rather you swing at me again than ask that question." Malik grabbed Torres by the shirt and slammed him against the dryer. Radio winced. Champ, he said softly. Don't do this here. Torres didn't flinch. Look at you, he chuckled. Hand shaking, heart racing, feeling alive for the first time since they took your gloves. Tell me, Malik said, voice cracking. Torres' expression shifted, just slightly. A flicker, not anger. Sympathy. You ever notice, Torres said quietly, that everybody from that fight disappeared? Malik's breath stopped. My coach, he whispered. Gone. The ref? Transferred. No trace. The EMTs? Record sealed. Malik felt sick. And Rivas, he whispered. Torres smiled painfully. Oh, Rivas, he said. He didn't disappear. He leaned in so close Malik could feel his breath. He got buried somewhere you ain't looked yet. Malik's skin crawled. Where? Torres whispered one final word. Here. The word hit harder than any punch Torres had thrown. Here. Rivas was buried here. Malik stood frozen. Fingers clenched in Torres' shirt, the laundry machines thudding like a heartbeat behind them. Radio stepped forward cautiously. Champ let him go. Malik slowly released his grip. Torres rubbed his shirt, unimpressed. You really want to find him? Torres asked. Then listen, but don't say I didn't warn you. Malik's voice was tight. Where is he? Torres glanced toward the laundry door, checking for guards. This prison got 4 housing wings, he said. A, B, C, and medical, Malik replied. Torres smirked. That's what they tell inmates. Malik frowned. What are you talking about? Torres lowered his voice. There's a 5th wing. Malik shook his head. No, I've been in every hallway on duty. There's 4. Radio cut in quietly. No, Champ, there's 4 wings you're allowed to see. That 5th one, don't nobody talk about it, because half the block don't even know it's real. Malik felt cold creep up his neck. Torres leaned in. They call it the White Wing, he said. Old abandoned unit. Closed years ago after a fire. But the fire never burned enough to justify sealing an entire wing. Malik swallowed. Why close it then? Because, Torres said, they needed a place to stash men who weren't supposed to be alive or dead. Malik's breath stalled. Torres continued. Men who needed surgeries without paperwork. Transfers without names. Treatment without witnesses. Radio finished quietly. A place to hide the kind of truth that ruins careers. Malik stared at them both. You're saying Rivas is in the White Wing? Torres tilted his head. Or what's left of him. The warning. Footsteps echoed down the hall. Heavy. Guard-like. Torres stepped back immediately. Hands up, posture neutral. Radio moved to a laundry cart, pretending to fold. Malik shoved the torn medical report into his waistband. 2 COs walked past the door without looking inside. When they were gone, Torres spoke again, voice sharper. Listen to me carefully, he said. The White Wing isn't somewhere you stroll into. It's locked electronically and manually. Only medical supervisors and high-clearance COs have access. Malik's jaw tightened. How do I get in? Torres laughed under his breath. You don't, he said. Not unless you want to die. Malik stepped closer. You're not telling me to stay away because it's dangerous, he said. You're telling me because you know I won't. Torres' expression shifted for half a second. Respect? Annoyance? Both? You really are who they said, Torres muttered. Then he nodded toward the laundry cart. You already got your first clue, but if you want the second one. He jerked his chin toward the infirmary hallway. You're going to have to go there. Malik stiffened. I saw someone yesterday, he said, in the infirmary. Looked like... I know who you saw. Torres cut him off. And trust me, that wasn't Rivas. That was someone they patched up after things went sideways. Things. Malik repeated. Torres' tone darkened. You'll understand soon. But I'll tell you this now. Rivas wasn't the only one who collapsed that night. Someone else dropped. Someone else got dragged away. Malik's heart slammed. Who? Torres looked him dead in the eyes. You. The word hit like a gut shot. Malik staggered back. I didn't collapse, he said. I walked out. I remember. Do you? Torres asked sharply. Or do you remember what they told you happened? Malik's mind spun. Images of the fight flashed. The roar of the crowd, Rivas falling, EMTs swarming. Then blankness. A blackout he'd always blamed on shock. Torres stepped toward him. Why you think you woke up in a medical room and not in the arena? He asked. Why you think you signed that plea deal without arguing? Why you think your coach vanished the next day? Malik's heartbeat hammered loud in his ears. You're lying. Torres shoved Malik back into the dryer. I'm trying to keep you alive. Radio stepped between them, hands raised. Enough, he said quietly. Torres said what he said. Champ heard what he needed. But he doesn't get it. Torres snapped. You think you came here 'cause you guilty? No. You came here 'cause someone up top needed you boxed in. Safe. Hidden. Contained. Malik grit his teeth. Why me? Torres leaned close again. Because you saw something that night. Maybe you don't remember. Maybe they made sure you didn't. Malik's skin prickled. What did I see? Torres stepped back. You want the truth? Then you go to the White Wing. Tonight. Radio hissed. Torres, stop. You're gonna get him killed. Torres ignored him. You want Rivas? He said. You want answers? The White Wing holds both. He backed toward the hallway, shadows swallowing his figure. You want to live? Torres added, don't let them catch you going there. He disappeared. Decision. Malik stood in the steam-filled room, heart pounding unevenly. Radio picked up the vent paper and handed it back to him. You sure you want to do this, champ? Radio asked softly. Malik stared at the medical report's words again. Injury prior to knockout. External object suspected. He folded it and tucked it into his waistband. I need to know, Malik whispered. Radio exhaled slowly. Then you better move fast, he said. White Wing power shuts off at midnight. After that, even ghosts can't get in. Malik felt his heartbeat steady. Tonight, everything changes. The prison always changed after lights out. Noise dropped. Tension rose. Every footstep sounded like confession. Malik waited until the guards finished their final rounds, counting slow breaths until the hallway settled into stillness. Radio whispered from the next cell. You sure you ready, champ? Malik kept his eyes on the darkness ahead. No, he said, but I'm going. Radio sighed. You find that door, you find trouble. Malik stepped out anyway. He moved through the dim corridor with deliberate quiet. Years of ring footwork translating into stealth. Down 2 halls, past the laundry room, toward the medical wing. His heart thudded so loud, he worried it would give him away. Torres' words replayed. Rivas didn't disappear. He got buried somewhere you ain't looked yet. Malik reached the medical wing. The fluorescent lights flickered like they were nervous too. He slipped past the infirmary door, past a man who looked like Rivas, past the stretchers. Then he saw it, a narrow corridor branching right, a place he'd never been allowed to walk. No label, no sign, just a dark hallway with a door at the end, a door with no nameplate. The White Wing. Malik inhaled deeply, then walked toward it. The guard. Halfway down, a shape stepped out from the shadows. A guard. Not any guard. Officer Mills. He leaned against the wall, arms folded, expression carved in tension. What are you doing here? Mills asked quietly. Malik swallowed. I need answers. Mills shook his head. You're going to get yourself killed. You knew, Malik said, about the rumor, about Rivas, about all of it. Mills didn't deny it. What I know, Mills said carefully, is that the White Wing exists for one reason, to keep certain truths locked up where no one can see them. Malik stepped closer. Then let me see. Mills' jaw clenched. Carter, you don't understand what kind of people ran that arena. What kind of people run this prison? You weren't supposed to live that night. Rivas wasn't supposed to live either. The only thing that saved you was... Mills cut himself off. The only thing that saved me was what? Malik pressed. Mills stared at him, silent too long. Finally he exhaled. You're not getting in without an override key. Then give it to me. Mills looked genuinely pained. I can't. You can. I shouldn't. Malik stepped directly in front of him. You've been protecting me since I got here, Malik said. Breaking rules. Warning me. Why? Mills didn't answer, but his eyes softened just enough. Malik pushed. What happened the night of the fight? Mills looked away. I wasn't there, he said. Wasn't on duty, but I know the report was fake. I know the EMTs were told to shut up, and I know the men who ran that event also have ties inside this building. Malik felt heat climb his spine. Ties here. Mills nodded slowly. 2 senior staff. Maybe more. They used this prison to hide things. To bury things. Malik's voice dropped. Rivas! Mills swallowed. If you go in that wing, he whispered, you better be ready for whatever you find. The man you remember, he might not be the man you meet. Malik didn't blink. I'm going. Mills closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them, his shoulders sank in defeat. Damn it, Carter. He reached into his vest, pulled out a flat key card, held it between 2 fingers. This opens a white wing, he said. If anyone asks, I never saw you. Malik took the card. Why are you helping me? Mills' jaw tightened. Because somebody in this prison already tried to kill you once, and I'm not going to let them finish the job. Malik nodded, pulse pounding. He turned toward the nameless door. Stopped. Mills, Malik said. If I don't come back. You're coming back. Mills cut in, but his voice shook. The door opens. Malik approached the door. No window. No peephole. Just thick metal with a card scanner glowing faintly red. He held the card to the scanner. A tiny beep. Green light. The lock clicked. The door creaked open. Cold air seeping out like a secret escaping its cage. Malik stepped inside. The white wing was nothing like the rest of the prison. No graffiti. No noise. Just long hallways with old paint peeling off and medical equipment abandoned mid-use. It felt like a hospital built underground. He moved deeper. His eyes adjusted. Then he saw the rooms. Each one had a bed. Monitors. Straps. Prisoners. No. Patients. Some empty. Some with outlines on the dusty sheets, as if someone had once been there long ago. A chill ran down Malik's spine. He moved further until he reached a door at the very end. This one was newer, reinforced, locked with both a key card and manual latches. A plaque had been ripped off. Only the screws remained. Malik raised the card. Before he scanned it, a voice rasped from inside. Weak, broken, but familiar. Who is there? Malik froze. His entire body seized. He knew that voice, even distorted, even sick, even barely alive. He scanned the card. The lock clicked. He opened the door. Inside, a man lay on a narrow medical bed, his face swollen, stitched, scarred, but unmistakable. One eye half shut, one lung struggling for air, but alive. Rivas, alive. And when he saw Malik, tears gathered in his battered eyes. You, Rivas whispered. They told me you were dead. Malik staggered forward. No, Malik said, voice cracking. They told me you were. Rivas reached a trembling hand toward him. Malik, he whispered, you weren't supposed to see what happened. Malik's heart stopped. What did I see? He asked. Rivas' lips parted. I tried to warn you that night. And then a new sound cut through the wing. Footsteps. Fast. Not friendly. Someone was coming. Rivas' breathing rattled like cracked glass. Malik took a step toward him, but the footsteps in the hall grew louder, fast and purposeful. Whoever was coming knew exactly where to go. Who's here? Malik whispered urgently. Rivas tried to speak, but the words kept breaking. Malik, you have to run. No, Malik said, gripping the bed rail. Not until you tell me what happened that night. Rivas shut his eyes, forcing air into his lungs. Then, I wasn't supposed to fight you. Malik froze. What? Rivas opened one bloodshot eye. They switched opponents last minute. Said it was good for the promotion. But it wasn't about money. He coughed hard. Malik leaned closer. Rivas' voice cracked. They wanted me dead because I found something I shouldn't have. Something about a manager fixing fights, using the prison medical wing to hide injured fighters' debt mafia, all of it. Malik swallowed hard. Why involve me? Rivas shook his head weakly. They didn't want you. They wanted the man before you. But he backed out, too scared. Malik's pulse thundered. You're saying I was a replacement? Rivas nodded faintly. They didn't care about the match. They needed a body, a tragedy, a headline, something dramatic enough to bury the investigation I started. Malik's breath caught. So they planned to kill you in the ring. Rivas squeezed his eyes shut, pained. Yes. And frame me? Yes. The footsteps were close now. 2 people, maybe 3. Malik's mind spun. Then why am I alive? He whispered. Rivas coughed, a wet, painful sound. Because the hit went wrong. Malik leaned closer. You collapsed before I hit you. Why? Rivas' eyes filled with fear. Drug, backstage. I told you. I tried to warn you in the ring. Tried to mouth it. Malik felt his stomach drop. He remembered that moment. Rivas moving his lips just before the final combo. Malik thought he was trash-talking. He wasn't. He was warning him. What happened after? Malik asked. Rivas' breathing faltered. They dragged me out alive. You fell too. Collapsed. They injected you. Wiped memory. Rewrote the medical report. Malik staggered back. He hadn't fallen. He remembered walking out. No. He remembered what they told him happened. Rivas gripped Malik's wrist with surprising strength. Malik, the man behind it, he works here. Malik's blood iced. Who? Rivas' lips trembled. But then, a loud metallic clank echoed. The wing lights flickered. Someone was overriding the locks. Rivas whispered one broken word. Mills. Malik's chest cracked open. Officer Mills? The same man who warned him? Protected him? Gave him the key card? No, Malik muttered. He wouldn't. Rivas tightened his grip. He has a partner. One is protecting you. One wants you dead. You don't know which is which. Malik's pulse hammered in his throat. The door to the White Wing suddenly slammed open down the hall. Heavy boots. Flashlight beams. Voices sharp. Malik grabbed Rivas under the arms. We're leaving. Rivas shook his head violently. Malik, no, I can't. Shut up, Malik hissed. I'm not losing you again. He dragged Rivas off the bed. Rivas bit back a scream. He could barely stand. But Malik carried fighters before. He carried guilt for years. He could carry this man. But as they reached the hallway, a figure appeared in the shadows. Flashlight raised. Malik froze. Officer Mills. Breathing hard. Face tense. Gun drawn. Mills, Malik whispered. Mills' jaw clenched. Put him down, Carter. Malik stepped back, shielding Rivas. You said you were protecting me. I was, Mills said, until you opened that door. Malik's heart cracked. So you're the one they sent to finish us. Mills didn't answer. Not directly. But he didn't lower the gun either. Rivas whispered weakly behind Malik. I told you, one protects, one kills. Malik's breath shook. Mills, he said softly. Tell me you're not the one trying to wipe us out. Mills inhaled slowly. Then he turned around, gun aimed past Malik. At someone in the hall Malcolm hadn't seen. Another guard stepped forward. Face cold, expression empty. Officer Vance. He raised his own gun. You're too late, Mills, Vance said. Boss wants them both gone. Tonight. Mills fired first. The shot blasted through the hallway. Vance dropped. Mills stepped closer to Malik, eyes wide, breath shaking. I told you, he whispered. I'm not letting them finish the job. Malik didn't move. Rivas sagged against him. Mills holstered the smoking gun. Go, he said urgently. Through the emergency stairwell. I'll stall the others. Malik stared at him. You saved us. Mills shook his head. No, I just stopped the wrong man this time. He grabbed Malik's shoulder. Run. The escape. Malik dragged Rivas toward the emergency exit. Doors buzzed. Alarms flickered. Shouts erupted behind them. They stumbled down 2 flights of stairs, through a maintenance tunnel, out into the early morning yard where fog clung to the ground. Radio was waiting by the fence. Torres was waiting too, both of them tense, alert. "You get him?" Torres asked. Malik nodded, breath ragged. "He's alive." Rivas coughed weakly. "I'm not sure for how long." Radio pointed to the gap in the fence. A blind spot he'd mapped for years. "This your only shot, champ." Malik hesitated. "We won't make it far." Torres stepped forward. "You ain't running for distance," he said. "You running for truth. You take Rivas out of here, the whole system cracks." Malik lifted Rivas again. Rivas whispered, "Thank you, Malik." Malik's voice broke. "You warned me that night. I'm not failing you twice." They slipped through the fence opening. Fog swallowed them. Shouts echoed behind them. But they didn't stop. Not this time. Ending note. Rivas survived. Malik survived. But the truth they carried, that didn't just survive. It spread. And for the first time in years, Malik wasn't silent anymore. He was loud enough to break the whole system open.